안녕하십니까. 국민통일방송의 이광백입니다. 북한 정부는 강대국이 약한 나라를 억압하거나 침략하는 걸 반대한다고 말해왔는데요. 러시아의 우크라이나 침략 전쟁을 지지하고 북한 주민들에게도 왜곡된 정보를 제공하고 있습니다. 오늘 우크라이나의 평화와 승리를 위해 활동하고 계신 활동가 한 분을 모시고 우크라이나와 러시아 전쟁의 진실에 대해서 살펴보는 시간 갖겠습니다. 다리아 칼레뉴크, 우크라이나 승리를 위한 국제센터 공동 설립자님 오늘 자리에 나와 계십니다. 안녕하세요.
Hello.
네. 일단 북한 청취자분들에게 어떤 분인지 간단하게 자기소개를 좀 부탁합니다.
I'm Ukrainian activist. For the last 10 years, I was fighting for dignity and liberty and for rule of law in my country. But on February 24, Russia invaded Ukraine. Missiles were raining all across Ukraine. There happened large-scale war, large-scale aggression. And part of my team relocated to Warsaw. And jointly with other activists from Ukraine, we created this International Center for Ukrainian Victory, aimed to explain the world what is happening in Ukraine, the truth about Russian war crimes, and mobilize the support for Ukrainian people to win this war. And now I'm happy that I'm in Seoul and I can explain to Korean people what is happening in Ukraine and why this war also matters for East Asia and specifically for Korea.
지난달에도 북한 주민 가운데 한 분이 지금도 전쟁을 하고 있나요? 이렇게 물어보신 분도 있었습니다. 그만큼 북한 주민들은 사실은 우크라이나와 러시아 전쟁의 상황을 전혀 모르는 것 같아요. 많은 북한 주민들이 궁금해할 것 같습니다. 지금 우크라이나 전쟁 어떤 상황인가요?
The war is going on, and the missiles are deliberately attacking Ukrainian critical infrastructure. We are entering into winter now in Ukraine, and there is a huge danger there will be no heat and there will be no electricity because Russia is sending dozens of missiles almost every day, attacking thermal power plants and electricity power plants and hydroelectric power plants. So it means that tens millions of people might be freezing in the minus something Celsius temperature and might not have electricity connection. So this is the strategy which Russia is using because Russia is losing their regular war. They aimed to destroy Ukraine and occupy Ukraine with 3 days. It is already the 8th month of this war, and Ukrainian armed forces managed to liberate many occupied cities. We are advancing on the south of Ukraine, but still many cities and many villages are occupied, and genocide is happening there. Russians are kidnapping people, they are torturing people, they are raping people, they are robbing the houses, they are committing genocide in those occupied territories. So the war is very much still going on and it has very cruel angles.
네. 사실 지난 2월 러시아가 우크라이나를 공격했을 때까지만 해도 러시아가 빠르게 승리할 것으로 예상하는 사람들이 많았었거든요. 그런데 지금 전쟁은 8개월째 이어지고 있습니다. 우크라이나 국민들의 의지의 결과라고 생각되는데요. 8개월 동안 러시아와 맞서 싸울 수 있었던 우크라이나의 힘은 어떤 걸까요?
This is war for survival for us, and we have no other option but to fight till the very end and liberate our people who are suffering under Russian cruel occupation. So therefore, entire Ukrainian people, not just army, but army of volunteers, civil society workers, just mobilized to help each other, to help people who had to relocate from their towns, from their houses which were destroyed, to help the army with supporting them with cars and with other things which they need. So the strength of Ukrainian people lies in every separate citizen who found its way how to help our country to win this war. Therefore, we are convinced the victory will happen, and one of the reasons why I'm here to talk to people in Seoul, to think what will be the world after Russia loses the war. It is important to think here in Seoul also what will happen to North Korea after Russia loses the war. So this is the war against innocent people. This is the genocide committed in Ukraine.
네, 그 두 가지가 궁금합니다. 전쟁의 진실입니다. 푸틴은 왜 우크라이나를 공격했다고 보시나요?
Putin invaded Ukraine in order to preserve this empire. And he treats himself as an emperor of this country, of Russia. Ukraine told that, listen, guys, we are not part of your empire. We are free people, we are free nation. We just want to live in dignity, and we want people to have justice and to have freedom to say what they want to say and to do what they want to do. We want to live in a country where people respect each other and where people have possibility to go to job and work and having decent salary. So Putin and imperialistic Russia didn't like that, and they failed to destroy Ukraine from inside through their agents embedded into different institutions, and they decided to destroy Ukraine in a militarily way. So basically, Ukraine being flourishing, independent state with rule of law is the threat to the imperialistic regime of Vladimir Putin. But I want you to understand that it's not just Putin's war, it's Russia's war. In a way, Russia is formed now, is still an empire, a colony, which is enslaving people and other nations. And Ukrainians are standing against that.
고통스러운 이 전쟁이 언제쯤 끝날 것으로 보시는지요?
It's hard to predict the future of wars, but it will end when Ukraine will win. And Ukraine will win after the last Russian soldier will leave Ukrainian territory. And after the last Russian tank will leave Ukrainian territory or will be destroyed. So we are fighting for every person, every human being which is suffering now under Russian occupation, and we will fight hard to take back all those people which were kidnapped from the occupied territories of Ukraine. What Russians are doing, they are killing parents of small children, and then they are kidnapping these children to Russia and then adopting them, making it's a big PR for their people, explaining that in such a way they are helping Ukrainian kids. Basically, Ukrainian armed forces and the entire Ukrainian nation decided to fight till the very end. We will liberate our country, we will rebuild our country, reconstruct it, we'll make it stronger, and we will hold accountable every Russian criminal which was committing genocide and war crimes in Ukraine. And Russia will pay reparations for all those horror, for all those damage which they done in Ukraine for Ukrainian people. And I believe that Ukrainian victory will become the success story and a model for all those countries which are still struggling for their independence and for their freedom. We are sacrificing our lives in order to make sure that democracy can win and dignity of human being is more important and can prevail over dictatorship and oppression.
특별히 북한 주민들에게 전하고 싶은 굉장히 중요하고도 흥미로운 정보가 있다고 들었습니다. 어떤 건지요?
Yeah, I wanted to say that a lot of descendants of Koreans are now fighting on the good side of this war. I have many friends who are descendants of North Koreans who escaped from North Korea to Russia and then settled up in the south of Ukraine. And Vitaly Kim is the governor of Mykolaiv, one of the largest cities in the south, which is daily attacked with missiles from Russia. And he is one of Ukrainian heroes. He is a descendant of Koreans in Ukraine. Before war started, there were about 30,000 Ukrainian Koreans who settled merely in the south of Ukraine. And they were reviving their culture, they were reviving their language, they studied Korean language again. So I think that Korean people found actually good life and dignity in Ukraine. And we treat them as Ukrainians now, as they are our citizens. We are proud of Koreans in Ukraine. But unfortunately, most of Korean Ukrainians, they live in the south of Ukraine, which is now being occupied. So many people live under occupation again. So their parents, grandparents ran away from occupation in North Korea, settled down in Ukraine, and now Russia again came to Ukraine to occupy these people. So that's very sad. But again, there are heroes like Vitaly Kim who are leading the fight, and we are proud of Korean Ukrainians in Ukraine.
북한 정부는 러시아를 지지하면서 이 기회를 틈타 핵과 미사일을 개발하고 있습니다. 북한 주민은 이 전쟁에 동원돼서 어쩌면 희생될지도 모르는 그런 안타까운 상황입니다. 끝으로 북한 주민들에게 전할 메시지가 있다면 어떤 걸까요?
Keep fighting. You have to oppose the oppressive regime. I know it's very hard, but either you are part of this regime and you're helping to oppress and kill and murder other people, or you're choosing the right for your freedom. I know it's hard to say, being a Ukrainian, to North Koreans, because I know that hundreds, thousands of North Koreans are kept in the concentration camps. But I believe in Korean people, and I believe in the unification of the Korean people. I know what happened in North Korea is also the result of the Russian imperialistic attempts to build communism all across the world. These attempts failed, and the Russian Empire will be destroyed. I think that it will help Korean people in North Korea to finally get liberty and to win their struggle. So I think the world has to be prepared for the Ukrainian victory and Russia losing the war. And this will be the powerful signal for all authoritarianism in Russia, in North Korea, in China. Freedom and democracy can win oppression and dictatorship.
네, 지금까지 우크라이나의 평화와 승리를 위해 활동하고 계시는 활동가님과 이야기 나눴습니다. 우크라이나와 러시아 전쟁의 진실을 알게 된 시간이었을 것으로 믿습니다. 오늘 함께해 주신 다리아 칼레니욱 님, 그리고 이 방송을 끝까지 들어주신 청취자 여러분께 진심으로 감사드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.